Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 15th of June, 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. Simon's Town, long known as a charming naval village, has regained its place in the spotlight as global trade shifts and mounting insecurity disrupt established sea routes. According to Daily Investor, the United States now regards Simon's Town as one of only 3 maritime control points, critical to Indo-Pacific power dynamics. The others are the Bab al-Mandab Strait and the Solomon Islands. Dr. Franz Cronje, political analyst and former CEO of the Institute of Race Relations, explained during a PSG Think Big webinar that controlling these narrow marine corridors can shape the balance of global commerce. Simon's Town, sidelined after the opening of the Suez Canal in the 1800s, is re-emerging as vessels reroute around the Cape in response to recent Houthi missile strikes in the Red Sea, with the US reportedly losing influence in the Bab al-Mandab region and the Solomon Islands. Bloomberg warns Simon's Town stands out as their last strategic anchor in this vital trade system. Beyond the Pacific connection, the town serves as a gateway to the South Atlantic. Renewed oil exploration off the coast of Namibia and growing South American markets are drawing global interest, and Simon's Town sits at the center. Cronje suggests a smart diplomatic strategy from South Africa could secure a strategic US-South Africa pact. Such a treaty, he argues, could unlock significant investment, boost economic growth, and elevate Cape Peninsula's prominence on the world stage. The arrest of a 42-year-old SAPS sergeant has sent shockwaves through the force, linked to the kidnapping of 19-year-old Kamogolo Baukudi last Thursday morning. National Police spokesperson Brigadier Athlenda Mate confirmed that the abduction, which initially involved individuals impersonating officers, was carried out using a white Toyota Hilux GD6 owned by SAPS. The suspect was promptly arrested and will face kidnapping charges, with additional counts under consideration. Brigadier Motansi Makele emphasized that the service will hold its own accountable. The involvement of any SAPS member in criminal acts will not be tolerated, stated Brigadier Motansi Makele. As Free State Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Baile Motswenyane announced a thorough investigation, promising no favors will be granted even to internal members of the force. The Free State Department of Education has stepped in to provide mental health support and counseling services to learners and staff affected by the incident. Strong criticism has erupted over the DA-led city's draft budget, which proposes a shocking 12.91% rental increase for community residential units, mostly on the Cape Flats. Opposition parties and residents describe the hike as punitive and anti-poor. Good councillor Axelile Notiwala labelled it a cruel, unnecessary burden, saying the increase was pushed through at a 29th April special committee meeting, even as public voices called for relief. He warned that these neighbourhoods are already battling collapsing infrastructure and rising living costs. The ANC and National Coloured Congress joined the chorus, with ANC caucus leader Ndithini Tihido declaring the move designed to squeeze Cape Townians out of their homes and accusing the administration of contempt for vulnerable communities. The NCC criticised the budget as tone-deaf amid socio-economic hardship. City of Cape Town's Human Settlements Committee responded that the proposal was part of Budget 2.0 and aimed at funding a public housing safety unit to improve living conditions and safety. Mayoral Committee member Carl Popham said, even though it hasn't been approved yet, the city recognises pressures on low-income earners and will review it again in January 2026. He also pointed out the proposed 50 Rand per month increase is partially offset by existing relief and rebates. A shocking arrest rocked the Cape Town Law Enforcement Department yesterday as a member of the Anti-Land Invasion Unit was detained on charges of kidnapping, extortion, and murder. The Hawks confirm the 43-year-old officer was arrested in Belleville following a large-scale intelligence operation. It's alleged the officer kidnapped a victim in Kraaifontein mid-May under the pretense of purchasing a vehicle. Ransom demands initially reached 100,000 rand, then dropped to 10,000 rand. 4 accomplices, aged between 30 and 36, were arrested in May, and the victim's body was found buried on dunes between Monwabisi Beach and Makassar. The suspect used a city law enforcement vehicle in the crime. All suspects have appeared in Blue Downs Magistrates Court, with the officer due back on the 12th of June for bail proceedings. City Law Enforcement Inspector Wayne Dayson expressed regret that one of their own is implicated, affirming a zero-tolerance stance on corruption. A disciplinary process is underway alongside the criminal investigation. This case has intensified public concerns about crime and accountability within law enforcement ranks in our city. In an unusual move, Cape Town is taking action to manage its wild inhabitants. Baboons are set to be relocated from urban fringes to protect both troops and people. Greg Olofs from the city's Baboon task team explained that baboons have been relying on suburban food sources in areas such as V&A Waterfront and Constantia, which is unnatural, unsafe for them, and risky for residents. The plan aims to prevent troop fragmentation while restoring baboon populations to a more essentially wild state. A critical part of this strategy is a new urban wildlife bylaw designed to prohibit feeding and aggression toward baboons. Olofse highlighted that the goal is twofold: reduce harm to baboons and limit human meddling that disrupts their natural behavior. EWN reports that the relocation initiative has community support, with an emphasis on creating a balanced coexistence with wildlife. The city will continue monitoring sites carefully to ensure pups remain with their troops and relocation is humane. This move marks a progressive shift in urban wildlife management, focusing on preservation over confrontation. As Cape Town adapts its landscape, officials believe this policy will serve as a blueprint for other areas facing the interface of human settlement and natural habitats. A dramatic early evening arrest in Sea Point has demonstrated police ingenuity. A suspect was subdued just minutes after stealing a parking marshal's cell phone on Main Road. The Sea Point Community Improvement District, SPCID, used live CCTV footage to track his movement north toward Beach Road, prompting a coordinated chase by security and private teams. As cameras streamed the pursuit, SPCID control room directed foot and vehicle patrols, leading to a strategic intercept in a side road. The suspect, cornered successfully, surrendered and was handed over to Sea Point SAPS with the stolen phone recovered. SPCID's Heather Tager praised the swift tech-enabled response, noting that body cams activated mid-chase to support transparency. Chairman Jacques Weber credited smart infrastructure investment for helping stay several steps ahead of criminals, and noted that parking marshals, once seen as soft targets, are now better protected. This is a win for community policing. Coordinated actions between CCTV, patrol teams, and swift communication have helped maintain safety and deter opportunistic crime in the Sea Point area. The Western Cape's overstretched social services sector has received a lifeline with the launch of the Cape Care Fund, a joint initiative by the Department of Social Development and the Health Foundation of South Africa. The fund was announced on Friday, aiming to assist non-profit organizations battling budget shortfalls and dwindling donor support. MEC Jaco Lont explained the goal is to help these organizations move from surviving to thriving. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis donated the first 100,000 rand, encouraging Cape Townians and businesses to support the cause. He described the fund as a way to empower communities to look after their most vulnerable. Harry Granger from the Health Foundation said this initiative represents a new model of collaborative funding, driven by both compassion and innovation. He highlighted that the fund could act as a blueprint for sustainable social investment. The Cape Care Fund comes at a time when many NPOs are scaling back services or shutting down altogether. According to Lont, discussions around the fund began shortly after he took office, prompted by growing calls for urgent intervention in the sector. The long-term goal is to turn this initiative into a permanent source of financial support, driving systemic change and resilience in a fragile welfare system. It's not just about money, stakeholders say. It's about trust, partnership, and investing in the people who support our province's social safety net. Shock and sadness gripped the community of Samora Machel on Wednesday morning as a 15-year-old girl was gunned down while walking to school. The shooting occurred just after 8 a.m. on Ashley Creel Street. The victim, a grade 10 learner at Zisukanyo Secondary School, was shot multiple times and declared dead at the scene. According to police spokesperson Analisiwe Manyana, she suffered at least 4 gunshot wounds, including one to the head. Witnesses believe she was deliberately targeted, though the motive remains unclear. Her devastated father identified her body at the scene. This incident follows another school-related killing just days earlier, when a 17-year-old boy was found shot dead in Philippi. The Western Cape Education Department has deployed trauma counselors to support learners and staff. They've also called for increased police patrols during peak learner travel hours. Police are continuing their investigation, and no arrests have yet been made. The Western Cape Underworld was rocked yesterday when alleged gang boss Andre Naud was assassinated in Paro, sending shockwaves through Voortrekker Road during peak afternoon traffic. Naud, reportedly a central figure in Cape Town's criminal landscape, was shot dead around 2:40 p.m. while in the company of friends. His bodyguard, aged 61, was wounded in the attack, while 2 other men narrowly escaped uninjured. The shooting occurred in territory long believed to be under the influence of the feared 28's gang, though sources have suggested deeper political and criminal implications. Naud's links to the slain Mark Liffman, another Underworld figure shot in George last year, are being closely examined. Both men were implicated in ongoing legal proceedings involving massive organized crime allegations. Western Cape Police spokesperson Captain Frederick Van Wyk confirmed the anti-gang unit is leading the investigation. Several high-profile figures, including alleged Sexy Boys gang leader Jerome Donkey Boyson and Suhail Mohammed, also known as Mr. Zulu, appeared at the scene shortly after the incident, further stoking speculation of rising tensions in Cape Town's criminal underbelly. A case of murder and 3 attempted murders is now under investigation. No arrests have yet been made. After a decade of dodging accountability, former pastor and self-styled Forex trader Colin Davids has finally been convicted of orchestrating one of the country's largest Ponzi schemes. Alongside co-accused Derek Bredenkamp, Davids was found guilty in the Belleville Specialized Commercial Crimes Court of defrauding hundreds of investors through Platinum Forex CC, raking in a staggering 329 million rand. Operating from 2009 to 2015, the pair lured victims with promises of 2 to 8% monthly returns. In reality, money was recycled between investors in a classic Ponzi operation. Investigations revealed that funds were never actually invested in Forex markets, but instead parked in short-term accounts. Davids was already under scrutiny by the Hawks and Asset Forfeiture Unit, who had earlier frozen 100 million rand in assets. These funds are now under the care of a court-appointed curator to reimburse defrauded victims. Hawks' spokesperson Siabulela Vukube confirmed that the duo will remain in custody until sentencing on the 18th of June 2025. A 100 million rand confiscation order has also been granted against Davids and his company. This conviction serves as a strong warning against get-rich-quick schemes. particularly those hiding behind religious or financial authority. A deeply concerning incident at the Heidefeld Day Clinic has triggered outrage after a young Mannenberg boy in pain was allegedly left unattended for hours. The incident, which occurred on Monday 9th June, was captured on video and shows the child placed in what appeared to be a storeroom containing cleaning supplies, soiled bedding, and even clothing of deceased patients. The boy's mother, who rushed from work after being notified, was horrified to find her son still in distress without having received medical care. She eventually decided to take him home just after 2 a.m. Health staff reportedly dismissed the case as not serious. Good Party councillor Samora Machel described the conditions as a reflection of a broken, underfunded healthcare system. No one should be subjected to this kind of neglect in a public facility, least of all children, he said. The right to health is enshrined in our constitution. The Provincial Health Department acknowledged the frustration and apologized, stating the boy had been treated in the fracture room, used during emergency overflow. They committed to clearing out clutter and improving the patient experience at the clinic. This incident has reignited broader concerns about the quality and capacity of healthcare services across the province. Cape Town police have scored a major win against organized crime after seizing 15 bricks of cocaine valued at 18 million rand from a storage facility in Rowland Street. The raid, conducted on Tuesday by the anti-gang unit and organized crime detectives, followed a tip-off about drugs and firearms being stored on site. A 40-year-old suspect was arrested during the operation. In addition to the cocaine, police recovered an AK-47 rifle, an Uzi submachine gun, 5 9mm pistols, and multiple rounds of ammunition. SAPS spokesperson Frederick Van Wyk confirmed the arrest, saying the man will be charged with drug dealing and illegal possession of firearms. Western Cape Police Commissioner Themaisail Patekile praised the teams involved, emphasizing that removing such quantities of drugs and weapons helps prevent further community violence. The suspect is expected to appear in the Cape Town Magistrates Court shortly. This marks one of the most significant drug busts in the city this year and demonstrates the value of community intelligence in tackling high-level crime syndicates. Tomorrow, Cape Townians can expect a mixed bag of weather as clouds settle over the Western Cape early in the morning. Cape Town will reach a high of 24 degrees Celsius, with cloudy skies dominating the first half of the day. Light showers are expected between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Winds will remain calm at around 18 kilometers per hour from the northwest. Paarl is forecast to peak at 27 degrees Celsius, while Stellenbosch will enjoy slightly milder conditions at 25 degrees Celsius, with a lower chance of rain. Coastal waters will see swells around 2.2 meters, with an easy swell period of 10 to 12 seconds. Tides will move as follows: low tide at 6:23 a.m., 0.63 meters, high tide at 12:38 p.m., raise of 1.35 meters, and another low tide at 6:34 p.m., drop of 0.71 meters. Sunrise is at 7:46 a.m., with sunset at 5:47 p.m. With that, we conclude this week's review, and now you know what's happening in the Mother City. If you found this update helpful, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, informed, and connected.